Denver with playoff aspirations very much on their minds. And they got some help earlier today as Buffalo defeated the New York Jets. And the Raiders are losing in Green Bay. So Denver can get in the playoffs either by winning their last 2 games here and next week in Los Angeles, or they can get in with a victory today and a Pittsburgh loss to Seattle. I'm Vern Lundquist, along with Dan Fouts. Dan, Denver has won its last 2 really impressive victories against Kansas City and at Chicago. What's the key as they go for their 3rd?
Well, according to head coach Wade Phillips, the key today is to get on top of this young Tampa Bay team and discourage them. Of course, Phillips has a quarterback playing for him who's having perhaps his greatest year. John Elway is just super this year, and he's no longer just a one-man team. Elway can now rely on a power running attack led by number 33, Rod Bernstein. Bernstein had a great day last week against the Bears in a real nasty weather.
Well, it's anything but nasty today. We are downright balmy with 56 degrees here as Tampa Bay comes to town for the first time in 17 years. They are out of the playoffs again, 4-10, Dan. They're looking to the future, and Sam White just cast that lot with Craig Erickson.
And Craig Erickson's job today will be to run the ball, but also use play-action passes. The passing game will work if they're successful in fooling the safeties. They have to get a strong running game led by Reggie Cobb. On defense for Tampa Bay, the key will be the play of middle linebacker Hardy Nickerson. Last week, he had a great day against the Raiders, holding them to just 17 yards rushing. Today's assignment contained John Elway.
This is Tampa's first appearance here since 1976. That was their first year in the National Football League. They lost then. They lost down in Tampa in the only other game played between the two. And so game number 3, and Jason Elam will kick off for the Broncos. Is over the head of Mario Royster. It'll be touchback and come out to the 20-yard line. Craig Erickson comes on as the starter. 14 touchdowns and 17 interceptions so far this season.
Sam White said he was thrust in the lineup a little sooner than really expected or really wanted to. This offensive line has been really beat up.
Gruber, Reimers, Mayberry, McCray at right guard, Scott Hill and Ron Hall, Cobb, Workman, Hawkins, and Copeland. And Curtis Buckley is in as a wide receiver as well, number 28. He's lined up wide to the left. They hand it off on first down. No, it's play action. And Erickson incomplete to Workman left side.
That's what Sam White said. We have to keep the safeties of the Broncos honest. First play of the game, they fake the running play, try to suck up those safeties and throw the ball deep.
It's Williams, Cragen, and Dronette, Fletcher, Wyman, Mecklenburg, and Mike Kroll. And the secondary, Bradford, Atwater, and Smith. The key to the secondary of Tyrone Braxton is also in there. Second down and 10 from the 20. They hand off and get the ball out to the 23-yard line. It's Reggie Cobb, number 34.
Talked about Buckley being in the game. Well, his job is to block on the safeties, but you see, number 84 is Charles Wilson. His job as well is to try to go in and contain Dennis Smith that time. But with Smith and Atwater, you have the best safety tandem in the NFL. And obviously, the Buccaneers know that they're important to stop them this afternoon.
3rd and 7. 4 wide receivers in for the Buccaneers. Crossing pattern, that's good for the first down plus as Courtney Hawkins makes the catch and moves the ball out near the 39-yard line. A gain of 17.
And now the Buccaneers will go to their no-huddle offense, something that they do better than anybody in the league. It's unusual for a young quarterback to be able to work it as well as he does, but he's very cool. Watch as he just walks around, makes sure that everybody has the play, and prevents Denver from making any substitutions.
First down and 10 from the 39-yard line. Erickson falls on it for a loss of a couple back to the 38-yard line.
Miscue on the handoff between Erickson and Vince Workman. The Buccaneers got the Broncos on a first down situation with just their nickel people in the game. And this handoff goes awry, and lucky for Tampa Bay, the young quarterback is on that loose ball.
Loss of 2, second down and 12. Blitz. Gets rid of it. Incomplete. No flag as Ron Hall was defended closely. Mike Kroll coming on the blitz.
Kroll got a sack last week. Here he is, number 51, and he just comes completely free, unblocked. Wyman comes as well, and Erickson is going to be planted on his wallet. That was a big hit by Mike Kroll, and a clean hit. Did not drive him down into the ground after the initial pop.
3rd and 12. No score. 12:52 to go. Opening quarter. Erickson fumbles again. Picked up for the second time by Craig Erickson. Simon Fletcher knocked it loose. 4th down.
Yeah, Fletcher will be credited with his 11th and a half sack there, forcing the fumble. Here he is right here, boys. Got that sprinter stance, doesn't he? Goes right by Scott Dill, number 76, and swipes the ball out with his left hand. Again, heads up by the young quarterback, getting that fumble recovery.
Dan Straczynski is on to punt for the Buccaneers. Clint Milburn waits for it. It's a dandy. Milburn at the 18. Looks wide to the right side and loses yardage. And special teams, one of the really pleasant aspects of the Buccaneers. Ricky Reynolds was down for a loss of 2 on the punt return.
Tampa Bay has yet to score a touchdown in the first quarter this year. And they had a rough start that time.
19 points in all through 14 games in quarter number 1. Not the case for John Elway. Look at those touchdown to interception ratio, 22 to 10. Robert Del Pino is in the backfield. Elway to throw on first down into the flat. And Bernstein, Rod Bernstein, out near the 20-yard line. Here's the offensive line for Elway. John Nylander gets a start for an injured Wydell at left guard. Keith Kartz, Habib Freeman, and Reggie Johnson complete the line. It's Bernstein, Shannon Sharp, Arthur Marshall, and Cedric Tillman, the wide receivers. Injuries have really crushed the Broncos at that spot.
They'll be playing with a lot of inexperience at the wide receiver spot, so look for Shannon Sharp to get most of the passes as he usually does.
Bernstein goes right. Tries to leap over Martin Mayhew. A flag is down. And it was thrown late. Mayhew was a question mark until just before game time because of an injury. Jerry Markbride is the referee.
It's a plane.
Exactly. Faked by Elway. He comes left side. Cedric Tillman makes the grab and then is hit and knocked out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Barney Bussey, number 27, makes the stop. Seals, Dotson, Wheeler, and Price up front for the Buccaneers. The linebackers, Barney Bussey, who is a nickel back. Nickerson having a Pro Bowl year, as Dan said. Jimmy Williams on the outside. The secondary, Mayhew. Jerry Gray is not starting. He gives way to Joe King. And Marty Carter and Ricky Reynolds complete that list. That was Floyd Peters. Elway, right side. Oh, boy. Vintage John Elway. Shannon Sharp with the reception. First down, Broncos after a gain of 18.
And it's a option route by number 84, Sharp. Watch as he comes down the field after going in motion. He's going to read the zone defense and then just turn to the inside, knowing that that bullet from Elway is coming. Another third down conversion for the Broncos, something they do as well as anybody in the NFL.
First down and 10 after the gain of 18. No score, 9:58 to go, opening quarter. Denver and Tampa Bay. Play action again. Elway settles for a secondary receiver on the right side. It's Robert Del Pino, and he is hit immediately by Marty Carter. Gain of 5.
John Elway has been sacked 38 times this year as they've had a lot of injuries up front. But if the Broncos are going to go anywhere in the playoffs, this is the type of protection that Elway is going to have. Perfect job by that offensive line that time.
Giants playing in Phoenix today. Second meeting of the year between those two, and Washington with an early lead over Dallas. Barry Rose and Tony Kimbrough check in as wide receivers. Bernstein coming left. And knocked down at the 50, but that's good enough for a first down and 10. Gain of 7.
Bernstein is a real rare big back who's not afraid to go airborne. It appears he came down on his shoulder. But it's number 56, Hardy Nickerson, the leading tackler in the league, fighting off the block of Gary Zimmerman getting in on the play. But Bernstein could have hurt his shoulder when he hit this ground. He goes about 240 pounds. He landed right on it.
Bernstein out, and Robert Del Pino is in the backfield. And whistles will nullify the play.
Definite false start by the Broncos offensive line, so they've got a couple of penalties here early in this first drive.
Number 65, offense. 5-yard penalty prior to the snap, first down.
And that's one of the things that Wade Phillips was looking for in practice this week. Lack of concentration, a lackadaisical attitude towards what is happening in preparation for Tampa Bay. He said it was a good practice, but already 2 penalties, and this is not a good sign for Phillips and the Broncos. Rod Bernstein, who's had a lot of injuries in his short career, is heading for the locker room.
Reggie Rivers comes in to take his spot with Del Pino, and it's first down at 15. Elway across the middle to Del Pino, who makes it to the 49, and then is popped by a trio of tacklers for the Buccaneers. That's a gain of 7. With Bernstein out, what does that do to them?
Well, not only is Bernstein out, but Elway's top receivers, Vance Johnson and Derek Russell, are out as well. Now, when you take your leading rusher out of the game, this really evens out the tables a little bit. Bernstein does not look like he's going to come back in the game. Besides Bernstein, that takes away their power running game.
Well, that has the look of a dislocated shoulder. Second down and 8. Del Pino sweep to the right. Gets a couple of really terrific blocks. And Joe King catches up with him at the 35. First down, Denver, a gain of 13.
Ryan Habib, who came to Denver by way of free agency this year from Minnesota, is going to make a key kick-out block on this play. Rivers fills for him, takes out the linebacker Nickerson, and that's a huge hole and a 13-yard gain for Del Pino.
Broncos have now moved from their own 16 to the 35 of the Buccaneers with 6:55 to go. Opening quarter, no score in the game. That pass complete to Shannon Sharp, and he's knocked down at the 19-yard line. Another first and 10. Denver, a gain of 16.
Now Sharp comes up limping just a little bit, and this is unbelievable. It looks like he's going to have to come out of the game, so Bernstein's in the locker room, their leading rusher, and now the Broncos' leading receiver limps off the field.
Reggie Rivers comes back in. Boy, it's turned into a bah humbug day early for the Broncos. First down. Here's the toss to Del Pino. Coming to the left side. It's Reggie Rivers instead. And Rivers carrying for only the 9th time this season. Picks up 14 yards. He had carried only for 17 yards prior to that tote.
Rivers and Del Pino are going to have to carry the load now. Good block here. Watch Del Pino with the lead block on the defensive end here. Now he goes on for Bussey, who's playing a weak side linebacker position in this nickel defense of Floyd Peters. And the Broncos are gaining a lot of yards on the ground with their leading guy in the locker room.
First down and goal from the 5. No score in the game. High formation. And they hand it on the trap up the middle. Touchdown. Robert Del Pino. It's Reggie Rivers. That's first of the year. Number 1 is what I was trying to say.
That's a real impressive drive on the ground by the Broncos, considering the 2 major injuries they suffered. But they get another first drive, first quarter touchdown. And in spite of those injuries, Denver scores on their opening drive, overcame a couple of penalties, but it's a strong rushing attack right up the middle, and Richard Rivers is in for the score.
It's a silver time.
Like somebody fell over the back of his left ankle. Again, Elway with a 5-step drop and another bullet. Watch on the tackle here. He gets hit by 3 Broncos, and it's right there. Looks like Joe King rolled up that left ankle.
Double tight end set now for the Buccaneers on 2nd and 7. That's Dave Moore in motion number 83. They'll test the middle and find it warning as Dennis Smith, number 49, did what he has done for the last 12 years.
He has such great ability to recognize the running play and to come up from his strong safety position and allow the Broncos to play an 8-man front when it looks at first to the quarterback that it's a regular 7 or 6-man front.
And it brings up a 3rd down and 7. Vince Workman back in the lineup. He split wide to the left side as a wide receiver, top of your screen. Motion. Erickson heaves it on the line. That's good for a first down at the 35-yard line. Catch is made by Courtney Hawkins, and Atwater and Braxton make the tackle. Well, earlier today, Detroit outlasted Chicago. Green Bay dumped the Raiders. Philadelphia over New Orleans. Cincinnati over Atlanta. Buffalo over the Jets by 2, and New England rolls. Break up the Patriots.
And 38-0. Big win for Bill Parcells.
Good on him. 1st and 10. 7-0 the score here. Buccaneers, offensive problems, particularly early in the games, and they're playing on the road before a very hostile crowd. Here's Khan. Works his way out to the 42-yard line. Gain of 8. You know, Sam White said, Dan, when we talked to him about this game, that he was trying to convince his team that this was a playoff game, a playoff atmosphere. He wanted to simulate the experience for them when they get there, he said, next year.
And the players are kind of buying into it. They had a real strong second half showing last week against the Raiders, but they can't afford to fall behind the Broncos today.
2nd and 2. 7-0 is the score now. Cobb cuts back. Nice run. Nifty bit of running by Reggie Cobb, and he moves it to midfield, a gain of 7.
It was a nifty run, Vern. He got a real good block, too. Watch the lead back here on this play, going to go in there after Carl Mecklenburg. That's Workman. Nice cut there, and then the vision to see the hole open up in the middle until Atwater closes it down.
1st and 10, Buccaneers. And off the left side, Reggie Cobb gets just a couple.
But did you notice how Dennis Smith and Carl Mecklenburg were up faking the blitz, trying to get into Erickson's face, trying to do anything to rattle the young quarterback? Believe me, this has rattled more than just a young quarterback. I did play against Dennis Smith and Billy Thompson and these great safeties that have played for the Broncos, and you always have to be concerned where number 49 is on the field, especially when he's coming right at your face.
2nd down and 8. The voice of experience, huh? Into the flat, Workman has a blocker in front. He gets a dandy block from Mayberry. And that's another 1st down.
Real good play call by Sam White, just swinging it out on the read screen here, but the key is this beautiful block by Tony Mayberry, and the way Vince Workman set it up. He faked to the inside, got Braxton thinking cutback, got to the outside, picked up the 1st down.
Buccaneers have now moved from their own 20 to the Denver 40-yard line. Final minute in a fast-moving 1st quarter. 7-0 Broncos lead on Reggie Rivers' 1st NFL rushing touchdown. Had a pass reception earlier. Left side. Oh, my! Courtney Hawkins was there, pass a little behind him.
And in order to beat the Broncos today, Erickson is going to have his receivers make that type of catch. Ball was poorly thrown, but yet with a little bit more of an effort from Hawkins, he might have made that catch. And that's something that Sam Weich told us yesterday is just plagued his team all year long, is drop passes. Last week, he said he figured out that the Buccaneers dropped 100 yards worth of passes.
That Seattle score of significance here, because if Pittsburgh loses and Denver wins, the Broncos are in the playoffs. Workman gets the ball and a couple of yards down near the 38-yard line. It is an unbelievable day in the Colorado Rockies. The temperature, if you can imagine this, on the day after Christmas is 56 degrees.
That's got to be a record here in Denver, doesn't it, Vern?
It's a darn good average.
I'm sure glad I got the thermal underwear on, too. Didn't you tell me it was snowing like crazy here 2 days ago?
Well, in my hometown of Steamboat, it was 14 degrees below zero on Wednesday. 4 wide receivers on 3rd down. Erickson got a man, Hawkins. 1st down at the 20 on the final play of the first 15 minutes. That's a gain of 17 yards. The Buccaneers trying to move in for the tying touchdown. They're 20 yards away. We'll recoup after this. Back for quarter number 2 from Mile High Stadium in Denver as the Broncos lead Tampa Bay 7-0. Bruce Reimers, who started the game injured, couldn't go. He's come out, and Mike Sullivan is taking his spot. And Sullivan moves in at left guard right now. 1st down and 10 at the 20. Erickson in trouble. Escapes it. Now goes deep left side. Man open. Dave Moore. And that's a touchdown. There is a flag back at the 27.
This would be a real shame if it's against Tampa Bay. It's not. It's going to be against Denver. Great effort by the quarterback, Craig Erickson. And this call will go against the Broncos, and Sam Weich has got to be the first guy out to congratulate his quarterback.
We have a face mask foul on number 89. Defense. Penalty is declined. Correction, number 99. First down.
That is Shane Dronette for the Broncos, but significantly for the Buccaneers, making his 4th catch of the year. And for a touchdown, the backup tight end, Dave Moore from Craig Erickson. Michael Husted is on for the tying extra point. It's good.
You just wonder how close Jerry Markwright was to blowing the whistle here for control. There's Dronette. There's the face mask. Great effort, though, to pull away, keep his head up, look down the field, find his backup tight end for the touchdown.
Miami Dolphins, Dave Moore, makes his 5th catch of his NFL career and his first touchdown to tie it at 7. Here's the kickoff, and Robert Del Pino comes right and is cut down as he gets to the 21-yard line. There's Dave Moore, Pittsburgh. In his collegiate days, drafted by the Dolphins, waived and picked up by the Bucs a year ago. Here's the Broncos tied at 7 after Dave Moore's touchdown reception. Shannon Sharp, injured ankle and all, is back in the lineup now, but Rod Bernstein, a dislocated shoulder. That's a brutal blow for the Broncos. He will not return, obviously. 1st and 10. Run blitz. Elway hands it off right side, and Del Pino moves it out. Hardy Nickerson with the tackle.
If you look at the personnel now for the Broncos, as they're fighting for a playoff spot, they got a tight end, Reggie Johnson, who's playing with a bad hamstring. Their H-back, Shannon Sharp, has got a bad ankle, and he's coming out of the game now. Their leading rusher, Rod Bernstein, is out for today and possibly for any playoff action. And you got their starting tailback now, Robert Del Pino, returning kickoffs.
And it's 2nd down and 7. Well, John Elway said never before had he been surrounded by so many weapons, but they're all leaving. Flags are down.
And one of Elway's many weapons is his own voice and his ability to draw the team off sides, but he was a little late with it. Delay a game has been called.
5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
I think John say, wow, he wasn't sure that that was the proper call. He was feeling pretty good about using the hard count, getting the Buccaneers off sides.
Shannon Sharp and Del Pino back in on 2nd down and 12. Is that a tactic you used to use?
I tried to as much as possible. And once you get somebody on the line, it's like playing with a big fish. You just keep yanking them all day long.
2nd and 12, 7-7 ball game. Elway looks left all the way. Finds Shannon Sharp down around his knees. Pretty good pickup by Sharp. And the tackle made by Hardy Nickerson. Cowboys and the Redskins having at each other down at Texas Stadium. Here's Greg. Okay, Greg, 7-7 the score here. 3rd down and 8 coming up now for the Broncos, who will go out of the shotgun. Glenn Milburn is in on 3rd down. Pass is left side and dropped. There is no flag. Pass intended for Kimbrough and Milton Mack, number 21. Excellent timing.
Yeah, better timing by Mack than by Kimbrough on the outside.
Und hier
Eyeballs this pattern. You know, that's just a real good film study. He was making his break to the out route. Mack was before the receiver was.
Well, Floyd Peters liked it.
Good job of preparation by Floyd.
First incomplete pass for Elway. He's 7 of 8. Here's Tom Ruin. Courtney Hawkins has it at the 26 and has some room. Counter punches to the 41-yard line. That's a 49-yard punt, but 15 on the return for Courtney Hawkins. 12 minutes and 46 seconds remaining in the opening half of play. First half of play, we're in the early moments of quarter number 2, and the Broncos defensive unit on the field now as Craig Erickson and the Buccaneers have a first down 10 at the 41.
And I thought it was interesting when we talked to Wade Phillips earlier this week that first thing he says, we got to jump on Tampa Bay early. The longer they are in this game, the better they will play. Well, they didn't jump on them early. We got a tie game here.
First down and 10. Workman out of the backfield, wide to the right. Erickson steps up in the pocket, goes deep right side, and his receiver slipped at the 39. He slipped in part because Dennis Smith was all over him.
Yeah, Copeland got tripped, but that ball was airmailed by Erickson. And the one thing that Craig is going to find out today is he ought to be measuring some of these overthrows because they will be career longs. I played a game here one time, Vern. I was standing right at midfield and had a deep pattern called, and the guy was covered, and I let it go, and it went through the uprights into the stands, and I came back to the huddle, and my offensive lineman were giving me high fives.
Second and 10 from the 41.
Thin air here.
No wind today. Here's Workman coming left. Steve Atwater. Willie Oshiden also a part of it, number 91.
He's the #1 tackler on the football team, number 27. And watch as he just kind of freelances in here. Nobody's assigned to block him, and he comes up and helps out on the tackle.
3rd and 11 in the 7-7 ball game. Ball at the 40. Erickson behind his intended receiver at the 45-yard line. That's Lamar Thomas. And it'll be 4th down.
Real good defensive series for the Broncos. 3 plays and out. Loss of 1 yard net for Tampa Bay. So the Broncos, whatever problems they had in that first drive, have gotten it straightened away.
Glenn Milburn back for the return. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, outstanding special teams. And here is Krasinski high, and a fair catch called at the 15-yard line by Milburn. A 45-yard punt, nothing on the return. Frank Robinson limping as he comes to the sideline. Time has been called. Lost yesterday. Dallas leading Washington right now. Those are some of the playoff hopeful teams in the NFC. Robert Del Pino gets the handoff and goes left, puts his helmet down and picks up an additional 2 yards. That's a gain of 8. Hardy Nickerson makes the tackle, making a gain of 9.
And Hardy Nickerson had to come a long way to make this tackle, Vern. But he's right on the verge of 200 tackles for the season. And that's heads first tackle right on the chin of Del Pino.
You think he might make the Pro Bowl?
I think he deserves serious consideration. I hope the fans stuff the ballot box for him.
2nd down and 1. Trent Way, Reggie Rivers, who has the Denver touchdown, fights for yardage out near the 29-yard line. By the way, we had given Rivers credit for his first touchdown today. He actually snuck up on us and got 3 last year.
And Nickerson's competition for that NFC spot as a middle linebacker will be Chris Spielman from Detroit and Ken Norton and Jack Del Rio. So he has got some stiff competition there, but nobody has put more tackles on the board than Hardy Nickerson.
First down and 10 in a 7-7 game. Glenn Milburn in the backfield now. Elway back, has it tipped and incomplete. Looks like it was Sean Price, the rookie defensive end, number 92, who got a hand on the ball.
Yeah, he was the only guy clapping. We've got 80,000 people here, 77 or whatever, and number 92 is the only guy that's going to be clapping on this play. Both hands got up there to snuff that one from Elway.
2-back set now for the Broncos on 2nd down and 10. Rivers and Del Pino. Denver has not won 3 in a row this season. This is their 4th try at it, even though they're 9-5 coming in. Well play, Rivers left side. Out to the 32, maybe the 33-yard line. Hardy Nickerson with another tackle. And
they hardly ever lose here at Mile High Stadium. But we did their game against the Minnesota Vikings where they had a big lead and then lost 26-23 here. And the interesting thing about that game and this game is the relationship of this defense, coached by Floyd Peters, and the defensive Vikings run, now coached, of course, by...
I'm drawing a total...
Well, I know Denny Green's the head coach. Tony Dungy, of course, is their defensive coordinator. But it's the same style of defense.
I just like the way I bailed you out then. There's the pass across the middle to the 35.
Floyd Peters, of course, was the defensive line coach for the Minnesota Vikings for many years and brought this similar style down here. The only problem is he doesn't quite have the personnel yet up front for the Buccaneers, and it looks like a first down for Denver. And a lot of hand signals from Floyd Peters.
First down and 10 at the 40-yard line. 9:11 to go. Rivers and Del Pino in the backfield. Backs in the eye. Nice run. Flag down. Joe King may have grabbed a face mask at the 11-yard line. We have 2 flags on the play. The carry by Del Pino.
The first one appears to be against Denver because it was thrown at the point of attack. The second one obviously against Joe King. There's the clipping call against Denver, so they'll come back and just re-rack this one. No play. But Joe King showed a lot of speed running Del Pino down from behind. Unfortunately, hit him in the head at the end of it, grabbed the face mask. But interesting that the Broncos are now going with 2 tight ends. Reggie Johnson and Jerry Evans gave the strong running formation, power right, and that's where they ran the ball. So they're adjusting to their injury problems.
Side judge Howard Slavin threw the first flag. And here's Jerry Mark Brooks.
We have offsetting fouls. We have a personal foul, illegal crackback on number 89 offense. We have a personal foul, face mask. Major foul, number 41 on the tackle. Penalties offset, first down.
Well, here's number 89. That's a good block. Perhaps they're calling number 88, Jerry Evans, for the illegal crackback block. Real questionable, though, on both those calls. No question at all about the speed of Joe King, number 41. And then he makes a terrible mistake by going for the head and grabbing the face mask on the tackle.
Well, the Broncos are the big losers in that exchange of penalties. They have a 59-yard run wiped out. And we're back to square one. First and 10 at the 40. 8:40 to go. First half, 7-7 game. Elway has a man open. It's Kimbrough. And he bobbles and then catches. Now, did he go out of bounds and come back in?
Yes, he did. So the catch is not going to count, but the penalty will be against Tampa Bay. And Martin Mayhew, as he got fooled on the out and up move by Kimbrough. Another beautiful pass by John Elway. But watch Kimbrough at the end of this after he finally gets deciding how many times he wants to juggle it. He's going to step out of bounds right there. Circus catch, but it's not going to count.
Well, what's the rule, though, Dan? If he touches the ball initially inbounds and then goes out of bounds because he made legal contact with the ball, well, they're going to bring it back. You got it.
You've got to be on.
We have 2 fouls on the play.
He's ineligible.
Number 80 went out of bounds and illegally touched the pass. That's a loss of down. We have an illegal contact foul on the defense. Penalties offset. It's still first down.
Well, we're having a lot of fun with offsetting penalties, aren't we? Here's the first part of it right down at the bottom of the screen. There's the flag thrown. Mayhew in pursuit about 5 yards behind. But once he goes out of bounds here, he's got to come back on the field and establish that he's in with both feet. Obviously never did that. But, boy, that one will make the Bronco highlight film, guarantee you.
That's a heck of a catch.
And Elway's showing the confidence to go to young Tony Kimbrough. He told me earlier this week he's a real threat. All he needs is time. He's a raw talent. We saw just a little bit of that raw talent on that play.
Well,
first he made a great move to get open.
On back-to-back plays, the Broncos have lost 98 yards of offense because of the offsetting penalties.
Yeah, but it's sure been fun.
A 59-yard run, a 39-yard pass. Barry Rose is in, and so is Del Pino. And we're back to 1st and 10.
Third time.
We may get to halftime, and they'll never move. Drive for the screen pass, and it's caught by Reggie Johnson, the tight end. He's got it at the 40-yard line. Well, there'll be a minor change here. We'll have a 2nd and 10.
Elway's trying to throw a screen pass, but the guy that gets in the mix here, watch Santana Dotson here, number 71. He's going to recognize that a screen is coming, and he's going to run with the back right up here. And now Elway finds his tight end, his other outlet receiver, and gains a half a yard. We're having some great plays that aren't going anywhere, Bert.
Except into the memory bank. Del Pino tripped up with an ankle tackle. He gets to the 45. It'll be 3rd and a short 5 or a long 4 for the first down. Earlier this afternoon, the winners included Detroit and Green Bay. They play for the division title next week. Philadelphia and Cincinnati, and Buffalo and New England.
Come on, baby.
A lot of exciting, big scoring days in the NFL.
Yeah.
A lot of Christmas gifts out there, too.
3rd and 4. Milburn in the backfield. That's Marshall in motion. 4-man rush, and Elway finds Shannon Sharp, first down at the 39-yard line. Martin Mayhew makes the tackle.
And you see Cedric Tillman there saying, well, I almost took that one away from you, Shannon. Watch the 2 receivers on the outside here. The ball is going to go right by number 87, Cedric Tillman, and right into Shannon Sharp. And I think Cedric knew that it was destined to go to Sharp.
First down and 10 after the 16-yard gain. Elway is 10 out of 12. Here's Milburn. Great speed. But he can't use it on this play as he's knocked out of bounds at the 37-yard line.
At the outset of that play, it looked like Milburn was going to be able to use his great speed, but it was the equally fast Joe King that came up from his weak safety position to hold him at just a 3-yard gain. King showing a lot of speed here.
6:25 to go first half. 7-7 game.
He's winded, too. That's that mile high, baby.
It really does have an effect, huh?
Yeah, especially if you got to run sideline to sideline, as he's had to do.
Elway trying the hard count. Guards to the right side and finds Shannon Sharp, who is tackled immediately by Jimmy Williams, number 54. That's a gain of 3. Shannon Sharp, whose brother Sterling earlier this afternoon became the first man in NFL history to catch more than 100 passes in back-to-back seasons. Quite an accomplishment.
He told me earlier in the week that he went to the Pro Bowl last year as an alternate for Keith Jackson. Told his brother Sterling that next year I'm going to earn it myself. I think he's done exactly that.
That Seattle score, good news for the Broncos if they can win here. Elway across the middle, incomplete. Milton Mack was the first to indicate it, and then the umpire did, Chad Brown.
That's 2 good plays by Milton Mack, the nickel cornerback for Tampa Bay, working against Barry Rose, number 81. They're going to come in from the right side of the screen, and that's just perfect coverage right on his back. The ball came in a little low, but good job by Milton Mack.
Now Jason Elam will try a field goal of 51 yards. Maddox will hold. No good. Elam, earlier this season, had kicked one of 54 as it stayed wide right. So the Buccaneers have held with 5:24 to go, first half. Winners at home over the last decade. The Raiders have won 6 times here, but after that, take a look. Seattle has won twice. 9 teams have won only once.
I'm a big fan.
I'm a bigger fan.
Well, we got some big fans here in Denver, don't we?
I thought John Madden was down in Phoenix. First down. Reggie Cobb goes right and picks up 3 to the 35-yard line. Carl Mecklenburg makes the tackle, number 77. 5:08 to go, first half. Tampa Bay 4-10. They did win on the road earlier this season, winning in Atlanta, but they have not won on the road against an AFC team since when? 1980.
A long time ago.
Second down. Cobb again. And that's good for a couple to the 37-yard line. Reggie Cobb's 9th carry of the first half. He's now picked up 30 yards. Paul Gruber, outstanding left tackle who had a bitter holdout earlier this year. Bruce Reimers is back in at left guard for the Buccaneers. Cobb and Workman in the backfield.
Reimers is playing on a real bad right ankle, and he's got about 3 yards of tape on it. Real easy to see that this is the one that's giving him the problems there. Look at that tape.
3rd and 6. Broncos showing a blitz. Charlie Waters likes to bring his linebackers. Here's Erickson, and he has picked up the first down at the 45-yard line. Dave Wyman had him wrapped up, it appeared, at the 40.
Oh, he's young though, Vern, and he's brave. And when you're just 24 years old, you never go in with the slide. You always go for the yardage. Good job here. Not known for his mobility, but he's heads up, gets away from Wyman there, dives forward and picks up a key first down for Tampa Bay.
Buccaneers hanging in there. First down and 10, 7-7 game. 3:25 to go, first half. Here's Cobb, nothing there. Carl Mecklenburg again, number 77.
They're hanging in there, but if they don't get any more rushing attack out of Reggie Cobb, they're not going to hang for long, because Mecklenburg and the Broncos, they're used to teams hanging around on them. They, of course, have number 7 on the sidelines, John Elway, who always seems to pull games out in the second half. But Cobb is only averaging 3 yards a carry on 10 carries.
And it's a second down and 10 with 2:45 to go, first half. 7-7 game. Erickson, Smith tipped it, Wyman intercepts. And Dave Wyman is heading to the left side and has the ball for the Broncos at the 44-yard line. Dennis Smith tipped the ball, and Dave Wyman gets his first interception of the season.
Great example of what the defensive guys do in practice, the old tip drill. Watch number 49 from the left side of the screen is going to come in and knock the ball away from Vince Workman, and Wyman will never get an easier pick than that one. That's his 3rd career interception.
Broncos at the 44-yard line with all 3 timeouts remaining. Again, Bernstein out with a dislocated shoulder, so Del Pino has gotten the workload, and he gets a heavy hit from Hardy Nickerson on first down and 10. That's a gain of 2.
A lot of time left for Elway and a short field to work with. All 3 timeouts remaining as he's going to get his 4th timeout here in about 10 seconds, as the clock will stop at the 2-minute warning. Important for him to get this ball snapped before then, though.
And he does. Play action. Left side. Caught by Tillman. who's out of bounds to stop the clock, but we're at the 2-minute warning anyway. 1:56 to go in the first half of play. We're notched at 7, Tampa Bay and Denver. Action next weekend on CBS on Friday afternoon at 2:30. The Minnesota Vikings go to the Washington Redskins. A reminder to ring out the old year this Friday at 2:30 Eastern with Greg and Terry as they have their 1993 Plays of the Year Friday at 2:30 Eastern Time on the NFL Today.
Good situation here for the Broncos and John Elway. All 3 timeouts remaining, but this is a key 3rd and 4.
Defensively, and Elway can't find anybody open. Now goes down the sideline, and Wilburn, flying down the sideline with 3 Buccaneers converging upon him, dropped the ball.
Only this man here would dare make that throw and then make it perfectly. And Milburn has got to realize that John Elway can make that play. You've got to reward this tremendous talent by making an equally tremendous catch. But he's just a rookie, not used to seeing a ball thrown quite like that.
They do have a Stanford background in common, a few years apart.
He's got to go look at some old highlight films.
They'll go for it on 4th down out of the shotgun. 4th and 4. And again, good downfield coverage, and oh my! It was not intercepted, but that may have been beneficial to the Buccaneers. Mayhew dropped it, but he dropped it at the 26, and the Buccaneers will take over at the 38.
And I think we're seeing the effect of the injury situation with the Broncos. Double team that time on Sterling Sharp gave Elway no place to go.
44 to go first half. Ball game tied 7-7. And the Buccaneers take over. They have 3 timeouts remaining. 7-7 ball game. Reggie Rivers with a touchdown for the Broncos and Dave Moore for the Buccaneers. Workman left side to the 42-yard line. And the no-huddle offense now put in operation by Craig Erickson and the Buccaneers. 90 seconds to go first half.
Key for Erickson just to get a first down so he can at least take some time off the clock. Remember, Elway still has 3 timeouts in his pocket.
Erickson across the middle. It's caught by Copeland, and he's got a first down at the 36-yard line. And now the Buccaneers will use one of their allotment of 3.
And they are already within Michael Husted's field goal range.
Matter of fact, just as a footnote, Michael Husted in pregame warm-ups kicking toward this end of the stadium put one through from 60 yards out. He kicked it and had it hit at the top of the crossbar, and it went on through. Well, Dan, you said at the outset that you thought Denver had to put this team away early. They haven't done so at all.
Now, and you can just see the Buccaneers playing a lot better with each series. I mean, the play by Erickson on the touchdown was a big league play, and now we're going to see just how well he runs this hurry-up offense. That play to Copeland was a good start.
First time that the Buccaneers have played here since '76. And Sam White told us earlier this week we will not see a team that looks like they are 4-10. They have not played that way today.
No, both on offense and on defense. But this kid here, Erickson, was impressive last week against the Raiders. And a team that would like to intimidate a young quarterback. Sam was real confident that he could handle anything the Broncos might give him this afternoon.
Workman down to the 33-yard line.
Talk about Husted. He had a 57-yarder against the Raiders last week. And when you're up in this mile-high air, that you can add 5 yards to that. So he is capable of hitting it from close to the NFL record.
And there is no wind in the stadium that would affect the kick. Here's Erickson, right side, caught, and Hawkins is out of bounds at the 31-yard line. Well, if he kicks it now, he's looking at 47 yards, so he's well within range. Michael Husted, who for the season is only 14 of 19, not only, but he hasn't kicked that many field goals, giving evidence of the offensive problems for the Buccaneers.
And on the positive side for Husted, 3 out of 5 from 50 yards or longer. He definitely has a leg.
3rd and 5, 7-7 game. Safety blitz threatened by Dennis Smith and Steve Otwater. And Erickson, looking at them and the play clock, said, whoops.
Now, as I said, Vern, when these guys get up close to the line of scrimmage and the quarterback, here's Smith coming up 49 and Atwater. I mean, you're looking at guys that are 6'3", 210, 220 pounds. And you add that to all the other big guys up there, and Erickson, seeing the play clock run down, wisely called timeout.
Charlie Waters, the defensive coordinator, who was a defensive back during his terrific career with the Dallas Cowboys.
Terrific safety along with Cliff Harris, told us yesterday that it's a lot easier coaching a defense that is designed around safeties because he has so much experience as a player and can really relate, but he's really blessed with Dennis Smith and Steve Atwater.
This is a defensive team that really has turned it around since they lost to the Minnesota Vikings here, 26-23. That was a game in which they led 17-0. Now 3rd and 5. Workman in motion. They hand it off to Cobb, and he goes nowhere. Now it's the Broncos who signal timeout. They're all but conceding the field goal, and they'd like to have a little time to use their 3 timeouts.
And Weiss is conceding that his team wasn't going to be able to throw the ball and pick up the first down. Position the ball in front of the goalpost, so he's playing for the lead here at the end of the first half.
Greg and Terry coming up with scores and highlights of the games completed earlier this afternoon and those that are ongoing right now.
If I was Craig Erickson, I'd say, hey, come on, coach, you got to give me a shot at throwing the ball, trying to convert that 3rd down situation. There's no guarantee that Houston is going to hit this long field goal.
That was really a conservative decision on Weich's point. This will be from 48 yards out. Straczynski will hold. Ed Brady is the center. And this would give the Buccaneers the lead. Everything about that was perfect. Michael Husted hammers it home from 48 yards away. Ed Brady with a perfect center and Straczynski with a hold.
And whenever the head coach makes a controversial decision, he is always the happiest when that decision comes out on his side.
I did notice he led the surge onto the field.
Didn't he, though? They got the 3 points and perhaps the lead at halftime. Perhaps 30 seconds to go. Elway has 2 timeouts to work with. But Husted is real good at kicking the ball deep in the end zone and forcing the touchbacks. Among the lead leaguers.
There's John Elway, who will have 2 timeouts left when the Broncos get it back on offense. Husted, as a matter of fact, coming into this game, had only kicked off 43 times. Again, evidence of how seldom the Buccaneers had been in the end zone, and 20 of the 43 coming in were touchbacks.
That's a real good percentage.
Well, he ought to have a field day at 5,280 feet.
Yeah, we ought to mark this one. This one might go in the stands.
Might hit up there where your pass did.
It's the right end of the end zone. I think I had a little breeze behind me, though, that day, Bernie.
Well, it's balmy here, particularly when compared to weather we saw elsewhere around the country today. Here's the kick by Husted. Not only deep, but high. My gracious. That had about a 6-second hang time. This game is presented by authority of the National Football League, and this CBS telecast is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of CBS, the Denver Broncos, and the National Football League is prohibited. 32 seconds to go, first half of play. Denver with 2 timeouts remaining. 10-7. Buccaneers lead. Milburn on the sweep to the right side. And he's out of bounds at the 27.
That plays kind of a concession to the injury problems that the Broncos have. At wide receiver and at their H-back position, Shannon Sharp is working with a bad right ankle. And Tampa Bay, even if he had 2 good ankles, they would be double teaming him all over the field here.
It'll be 2nd down and 3. 27 seconds to go in the first half. Deep left side, man coverage. And the pass is overthrown for Kimbrough. Milton Mack was right with Tony Kimbrough as they went down the far sideline. And it'll be 3rd down.
Well, the Broncos have got to be thinking back to that weird series of plays where they gave up all those yards. Would you say it was about 100 yards in penalties? They were offsetting penalties, but it cost the Broncos a lot of yards and great field position both occasions.
Yeah, a couple of times with 1st and 10 at their own 40. A 59-yard run wiped out and a 39-yard pass. And here's Milburn out to the 34-yard line. And the clock is stopped with 12 seconds to go. They did get the 1st down.
Elway looks a bit bemused by the whole play calling.
That's a very nice word.
What is going on?
Jim Fossil is the offensive coordinator of the Broncos. And Jim, of course, was John's quarterback coach at Stanford back in the early 80s. Fossil, who last year was the offensive coordinator of the New York Giants.
And interesting how the coaching fraternity is. Fossil also coached the quarterback coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Turk Schoenert. Schoenert, of course, was Elway's backup at Stanford.
It is a small business, isn't it?
Getting a lot smaller, too.
Isn't it? Read that somewhere. 12 seconds to go. Elway tries to find Milburn, and there are 5 seconds to go in the half. There was really good downfield coverage by the Buccaneers secondary. Mack, Mayhew, Joe King.
In Fossil's defense and Elway's defense, there's just not a lot of plays that you can run in this situation that would get you in field goal range. Remember, we already have a miss by Jason Elam from about 48 yards. A little bit longer than that, 51 yards.
Final play of the first half. Oh boy, listen to this. Milburn out to the 47-yard line.
And you know, the fans don't even care. You talk about a laid-back atmosphere here. This is Mile High. They should be booing like crazy, that draw play. Not giving John Elway one last shot.
That happens when it's 60 degrees in December. Bah humbug.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Pontiac and your local Pontiac dealer. We are driving excitement. Miller Lite, great taste, less filling. Can your beer do this? New Fisher Favorites Tropical Fruit
Road against the Denver Broncos. And you never know what's going to pop up.
That is the ugliest reindeer I've ever seen.
Or the best-looking Chinese pug. I'm not sure which. Vern Lundquist along with Dan Fouts and Jasmine the Chinese pug joining you from Mile High, which feels like it's in Tampa Bay. And Craig Erickson and the Broncos have to be the Buccaneers have to be very happy.
That one play, that 19-yard touchdown to his backup tight end, he had to survive getting sacked. He had to survive having his face mask pulled by Shane Durnett. And then he had to find his outlet receiver. Anybody will do. Finds Moore alone at the 1-yard line, and he gets in for his first career touchdown. But it's been an impressive first half. The numbers aren't all that great, but that one play may be enough to carry the Buccaneers on.
And the Broncos have problems. They came in with some injury problems. Those have been magnified now with the loss of Rod Bernstein to a dislocated shoulder.
He looked dislocated, and they went into the locker room. They say he's going to be out for a minimum of 2 weeks.
No surprise here. Husted has a touchback taken by Rod Milburn. And the Bernstein injury occurred early in the ballgame.
He's a rare big man who's not afraid to go up in the air to miss a tackler, but it really cost him this time as he dives over and comes down on his right shoulder. There's the double hit by Nickerson just as he was about to hit the ground. That may have caused the separation.
First down and 10, Denver at the 20. Flags are down. They'll bring it back. Santana Dotson with the pressure, but somebody jumped a little early. Was drawn across that neutral zone. There's Jerry
penalty,
Marquardt.
first down.
Make it 1st and 15. And the numbers at the half. Broncos with 99 rushing yards and 94 passing yards, but on back-to-back plays they had gains of 59 and 39, wiped out by offsetting penalties.
And the one thing that Tampa Bay has had the lead twice this year at the halftime, and they've won both times.
It's 1st and 15. Elway, draw play. That's Del Pino for 1.
I go back to our conversation with Wade Phillips. Earlier in the week, he said, we're on a real high because we've won 2 games in a row against 2 real good opponents, the Kansas City Chiefs, and then they had to go to Chicago and beat the Bears last week. He was worried about a team with a bad record coming in here and whether his team would have his full attention during the practice week. Said he did, but this team looks very distracted today. The Broncos do, and they certainly are flat.
Elway across the middle. Reggie Johnson, the tight end. That's going to be good for a gain to the 26 and 4 yards short of the first down. Jimmy Williams makes the tackle. Well, keep in mind the last 30 seconds of the first half. There's a flag down in this last play, by the way, and they're going to bring this one back. Flag thrown by Jerry Marquardt, as a matter of fact.
Illegal hands to the face, number 65, offense. Half the distance to the goal, second down.
That's Gary Zimmerman.
And the Broncos, Vern, are starting this second half as poorly as they ended the first half. John Elway with a couple of timeouts to use. Not real good field position, but with an Elway arm, the field's a lot shorter, but Wade Phillips and Jim Fossil decided to go with meaningless draw plays.
Tampa Bay has not been penalized yet. Second down and 22. Elway comes deep left side, and it's caught by... Nope. Caught it out of bounds. Cedric Tillman made the catch, but he was out of bounds when he did so.
And our man Milton Mack again on tight coverage in nickel situations. He's going to be right with Tillman on the sidelines. There's the right foot, doesn't even come close to getting in. And tight coverage by Milton Mack.
And 3rd and 22.
Don't be surprised if you don't see a draw play here.
Glenn Milburn is in alongside John Elway. They will throw it. And he's going deep down the middle for Kimbrough. And he drops the ball.
Now, one of the reasons probably dropped that, Vern, is on that circus catch he made in the first half when he was out of bounds and bobbled it. He bruised his shoulder. Elway showcasing his powerful right arm here. Lets this one go. Oh, we can really mark this one. That's about 55 there. And just out in front of Kimbrough too much.
His back was to us, and it appeared he had made contact with it. Obviously, he did not. Here's Tom Ruin for Courtney Hawkins. So cast aside the blame on Tony Kimbrough for dropping it. It's just our vantage point made it look like he had his hands on the ball. But the pass not there. The punt a good one of 59 yards. 9 on the return. And John Elway more than just a little disappointed as he heads over to the sideline. Although Jim Fossil is giving Tony Kimbrough an earful there.
You got to be able to adjust to the ball, but look how the numbers kind of lie to us. It's what you do with the ball in that time of possession, and Denver did not score any points, whereas Tampa Bay scored 10.
Buccaneers lead by 3. Reggie Cobb. Well, he's averaging 2.8 yards per carry in this game, and that's not going to get that far. And in fact, over the course of the season, the running game has been a problem for Sam White and the Buccaneers.
Another problem they've had, Vern, is they haven't played on a lot of short fields. They haven't got real good field position because their defense doesn't turn the ball over to them very often. Good field position this time.
2nd and 10. Erickson for Workman, tipped away by Dave Wyman, who had an interception off a deflected pass in the first half.
Erickson has been sacked just one time today, but he's getting good time to throw. This is a banged-up offensive line. Only Scott Dill is the designated healthy lineman. Mayberry's got bad ribs. Reimers has got that ankle, and Gruber's got a sore groin.
3rd and 10. Safety blitz threatened by Smith and Atwater. They're coming. The hot read is left side. Now they're going to say delay of game. In the first half, Erickson was bothered to the extent that he called a timeout.
Well, this is a big break for Tampa Bay.
Delay of game. Offense, there's no snap, no play. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
It is a big break.
When you think about it, that's not a bad play by the quarterback. I mean, if you don't have a good play called at the time and you're not sure of your blitz adjustments, as it appeared that time, the receivers never looked inside to Erickson. They just let the clock run down and take a 5-yard penalty, and he still got a 3rd down. I'm sure that's not how White's designed it, though.
Now Atwater dances up and goes back. Erickson gets a little heat this time and overthrows his intended receiver Charles Wilson on the near side.
That's a case of defensive coordinator Charlie Waters outfoxing Sam White. Faked the blitz that time after coming with it the play before.
Always knew Charlie Waters to be a sly one. Straczynski is on the punt. Milburn waits for the return at the 15. Nice and high. Milburn, fair catch. Whoa! Is there going to be a flag? No, there's not. And the muff is recovered by Tampa Bay. I thought he was inside the area allowed for the fair catch. Roger Jones.
It appeared that Jones even bumped him, then backed off. Milburn dropped it. Jones picked it up. That's a good decision by the referees to decide exactly what happened.
I really thought we'd have interference with the opportunity to make a fair catch. Nope.
I think that's a bad call. It appeared that Jones bumped into Milburn and then backed up before the ball came down. Nope. He hit him on the foot. And I'm sure that's why Milburn dropped the ball.
That's not the first drop ball that Glenn Milburn has suffered in recent weeks. It's been a problem for him, but this time, understandable.
Heads up by Jones, realizing he made contact with his feet, but he backed up in time to get the no call.
Now the officials have called time.
Watch down at the bottom here. Watch the feet. Right there, they tangle. That disrupted Milburn's concentration. There's the muff and the recovery. And Tampa Bay takes over at the 15.
1st and 10, Tampa Bay leading by 3. Vince Workman pitches it back to Erickson into the end zone, and it is caught. Out of bounds.
I like the play selection, though, Vern. Little flea flicker there. Well designed by Sam White. He loves to trick him. But Copeland was unable to get his feet in bounds. Workman does a nice run fake there. Good pitch back to the quarterback. Watch at the end of it. Copeland's left foot is in, but he's got to be able to put that right foot down.
2nd and 10.
Inexperienced wide receiver.
Draw play, Cobb. Goes about as far as he has most of the day, which is not very.
Well, that just drives me nuts, Vern. And any quarterback or coach, the quarterback makes a perfect throw, great execution, and the receiver doesn't do his job by dotting the I.
Quick count. Mecklenburg and Erickson into the corner, caught. This time Hawkins has it. And there's also a flag down. The flag is at the 10-yard line. And there's another flag.
It appears by the reaction of the Buccaneers this is going to be against Denver, but we have to have our customary and mandatory conference here. Great pass by Erickson. Under pressure again, let it go for Hawkins.
There was an illegal substitution foul on the defense. The touchdown is good. The penalty is declined.
We said that Sam loves to trick him. Well, that time he went to his hurry-up offense, caught the Broncos illegally substituting, and his quarterback paid him off with a great effort, and Hawkins made the catch, and he dotted the I for the touchdown. You didn't know there was an I in touchdown, did you?
I do now. 14 yards. And Houston on for the extra point. This all began with a very controversial muff call by the officiating crew, allowed to stand with the Tampa Bay recovery. And Houston's extra point is up and good.
Weich's hurry-up offense pays off for him after that turnover. There's the pressure from the defensive end. A beautiful throw deep in the back of the end zone, and the beautiful footwork by Courtney Hawkins.
Third quarter, and the upstart Buccaneers have come into Mile High and taken a 10-point lead over the Denver Broncos. Here's the kick by Houston, and this will not be returned. Thought about it, but Robert Del Pino drops to one knee, and there's Buckley down and in his face, and no flag called. Take a look at the punt, which set up the touchdown.
Now watch the feet. Roger Jones here, number 24. He bumps into Milburn, then backs off. Milburn muffs it, and Jones makes the recovery. And that led to this outstanding effort by Erickson under pressure and lofting a rainbow to Courtney Hawkins for the score.
John Elway minus his big running back Rod Bernstein out with a dislocated shoulder, and with an injury depleted receiver corps, gets a nice run out of Robert Del Pino on first down. Out to the 28-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 2. Marty Carter with the tackle. Vance Johnson, wide receiver, injured out for the year. Derek Russell, wide receiver, injured. They've got Cedric Tillman at one spot, Arthur Marshall at the other. 2nd and 2. Del Pino hit and dropped by Jimmy Williams. A loss of 3. This is a Buccaneer defense that in the last 5 games has not allowed an opponent more than 300 yards. And right now, 193 yards of total offense for the Broncos. They trail 17-7. They face a 3rd and 5. Elway across the middle, incomplete. 4th down. And right now, let's go back to our New York studios. Here's Greg Gumbel.
All right, Vern, at Sun Devil Stadium, Giants in Phoenix. The Cardinals threatening. Steve Furline to Gary Clark. Won't reach the end zone. The Giants held. The Cardinals settled for a Greg Davis field goal from 20 yards out to cut the Giants' lead in half at 6-3 in the 3rd. Vern and Dan, back to you.
Okay, Greg, 17-7 here with 10.5 to go 3rd quarter. And Tom Ruin on the punt on 4th down. Courtney Hawkins waits for it. This is a dandy punt. And it's going to be down by the Broncos. near the 28-yard line. 43-yard punt, nothing on the return. 10:21 to go, quarter number 3. Ending third quarter. They have respotted the football and ruled that it was down on the 33-yard line. Wade Phillips pacing the sideline. He never loses his composure, but he is disturbed right now.
Not a happy dude.
First down and 10, Buccaneers. They lead by 10. Todd Mecklenburg led the way. And Darrell Hall, number 40, was also a part of the tackle.
And the crowd finally showed up. They're showing young Craig Erickson just how loud they can be. This is the loudest outdoor stadium in the NFL. And for Erickson to be effective, he's got to be able to handle this.
They'll go with the no huddle on second down, 11.
This has worked a couple of times for him. And now he sees that Denver has adjusted. He can take his time. 10 seconds on the play clock now. But he's going to be battling these 77,000 screaming idiots.
Yeah, you just made the Denver papers. Play action. Erickson under pressure. Gets rid of it to Workman. Good defensive play by Lilo Lang, number 21.
Always felt like they were idiots when I had to play against them here, Vern. But that is said in much respect.
Now you've made page 3.
They really have a way of generating a positive atmosphere for the home team. You can see Dennis Smith down there cheering them on and calling for more noise.
3rd and 10. Erickson with time. Smith, and there's a flag down on the near side. And this may be a call against Frank Robinson.
I think you're absolutely right. We got 2 flags, though. This is the day of the offsetting penalties. We have holding against the Buccaneers and illegal contact against the Broncos.
We have 2 fouls. We have holding on number 76, offense. We have illegal contact on number 36, defense. Penalties offset. 3rd down.
Now we'll take a look at the holding. Scott Dill, number 76, is going to get flagged. He's blocking against the Broncos' best pass rusher. And reaches out and tackles him before he can hit Erickson.
Meanwhile, on the near side, Frank Robinson was the other guilty party, all of which leads us to a 3rd and 10 again. Erickson, Fletcher, fumble. And for the 3rd time in the game, Craig Erickson recovers his own bobble. It is going to be 4th down.
And it's this guy right here, the track star, Simon Fletcher, who's going to get in and force another fumble and pick up another sack right here. But watch how Erickson battles for the recovery, taking it away from Jeff Robinson.
8:35 to go, quarter number 3. Straczynski, this is not his best punt. Milburn does hang on and will return. A long way. 1 man to beat. There are no flags. It's a foot race. Straczynski did slow him up enough so that Roger Jones caught up to make the tackle. But for Glenn Milburn, who just muffed a punt leading to the last TD, a 53-yard return.
A little hesitant to begin with, but he jumps through the hole, and now it's just him and the punter. Great speed and desire by Jones and Ricky Reynolds. Reynolds cuts him off, and Jones brings him down from behind, but not before he gets it to the 14.
1st down and 10. Back split behind Elway. Quick setup. Fakes, goes in the corner. Flags are thrown.
Going to get Martin Mayhew for pass interference. Double move that time by the receiver Tillman, and Elway put it up. And the flags went flying.
Holding, number 35, defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
They could have called it holding, illegal contact, or pass interference. This is a break for Tampa Bay that it's only a 5-yard penalty. He got the holding call. Watch Tillman right side of the screen with a little out and up move and a real half-hearted hold. And he gets the flag. Boy, I tell you what, that's a real questionable call.
Made me dizzy.
Pardon?
Just things got a little fuzzy there for a moment.
Yes, they did. I kind of like that feeling.
1st and 10 from the 9-yard line. 1st and 10 from the 10 officially. Sweep to the left. And a pickup of a couple for Robert Del Pino. Marty Carter made the tackle.
I really like that play selection, though. You get the big punt return. You've got the momentum and all the positive feelings going for you. So you take the shot in the end zone. I would like to see the Broncos continue that aggressive attack and not run the play. Let Elway put it in the end zone for you.
2nd and goal from the 8. Left side. Caught by Kimbrough, out of bounds at the 2. Forced there by Milton Mack.
And with all these injuries to John's wide receivers, he's been forced to find a new guy he can find confidence in. He told me he was just starting to feel really good about Tony Kimbrough. Came into the game with 4 catches. And that was his first of the day so far.
Had one that was called back in the 2nd quarter, one of those offsetting penalties. And now 3rd and goal from the 2. High formation. Oh, Del Pino, what a defensive job by Santana Dotson. Number 71 cut through, and he's going to force the Broncos into a try for 3.
He knocked down 3 potential blockers. Watch him right here come out here and get in the way of the blockers. There's goes 2, 3 guys down, and he gets in on the tackle. What a play by Santana Dotson.
Jason Elam, who missed from 51 in the first half, will kick it from 24 here. But first, these messages. We're going to talk a little bit. There we go. There's Santana Dotson. I'm not sure what Jerry Marquardt just said. I'm still not sure.
Sounds like he's in a tunnel. The Eisenhower tunnel, perhaps.
It sure opened the day with the temperature at 56 degrees. Here's Elam from 24. He is good. But the Broncos really had to settle for 3 when they wanted 7. It's 17-10 Tampa Bay. 6:34 to go in the 3rd quarter of play. Broncos now trail by 7. Elway 13 of 23, but he started off 10 of 12.
Well, he's only completed 1 out of his last 9, and that was the pass to Kimbrough. But you got to give a lot of credit to this defense of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
6:34 to go 3rd quarter. Wilson and Royster are deep. And nice over-the-shoulder catch by Mario Royster. It'll come out to the 20, and the Buccaneers will have a first down and 10. Greg Erickson and the Bucs lead by 7. Right now, let's go back to New York and Greg.
All right, Vern, in their first meeting at the Meadowlands, the Giants barely beat the Cardinals. Look here, late 3rd quarter, Ron Moore, 19 yards and a touchdown. The extra point gives Phoenix a 10-6 lead. They're in the final minute of the 3rd quarter at Sun Devil Stadium. Vern and Dan.
All right, Greg. Well, a couple of weeks ago, we chatted with Joe Bugle about that game, and he was really looking forward to it. He thought they'd have a big crowd in Phoenix for that one.
Well, they should have beat him in Giant Stadium.
First down and 10. Pass left side for Hawkins. And he's dropped at the 27-yard line by Tyrone Braxton.
You know, the one thing that White saw his offense do in their previous possession is go 3 plays and out. Very important for Weiss not to get conservative here, and it doesn't appear he's going to, throwing the ball on first down that time.
2nd and 3. Under 6 minutes to go. Quarter number 3. Mecklenburg crawls up in the line defensively. Play action by Erickson. It's a good fake. Deep left side, and it's caught by Hawkins. As Braxton went for the intercept and the knockdown and missed it. A gain of 30 yards.
You got to be impressed with the way Erickson is playing, Vern. I talked to Turk Schonert, his quarterback coach, and asked him, what about this guy? He says, well, you got to compare him to Rick Meyer and Drew Bledsoe as far as being a young quarterback. The thing he's doing now that he didn't do earlier in his career with the Bucs is he's overlooking the pass rush, and he's focusing down the field. Broncos now. Yeah, Broncos are going to call timeout. They are back on their heels.
5:19 remaining in quarter number 3 at 17-10 Tampa. 5:19 to go, quarter number 3, and Courtney Hawkins at 100 yards on 7 catches today, and he's got the touchdown, which is the margin of difference in the ballgame.
He's just 2 yards away from a career best.
1st and 10, Tampa Bay. Erickson is 11 of 20. That's Hawkins in motion. Finds Hawkins, and he can't hang on. Incomplete.
I think Ronnie Bradford might have got a finger on that one to just tip it away at the last second. But this secondary of Charlie Waters has to be a major concern to him right now. Erickson's getting time to throw, and his receivers are working real hard to get open.
Cleveland leading the Rams 21-7. It's 2nd and 10. Blitz. Cobb. Jail.
We talk about trick plays and how Sam Weich loves them. Well, that time he tried a trick play. Cobb was looking to pitch the ball back to Copeland on a reverse, and they lost 6 yards on that play. That's that old living by the sword and dying by it. That was a real costly, bad play selection by Sam Weich.
And it leaves the Buccaneers looking at a 3rd and 16. 3rd down conversions, they've been pretty good today, 5 of 9.
Yeah, this is a long way to go, though.
4-man rush, and Erickson goes deep, right side, incomplete. Cowboys facing the Redskins at Texas Stadium today. Once again, here's Greg.
All right, Vern, and the Cowboys just about have it in cruise control. Lincoln Coleman, just activated in mid-November, reaches the end zone from a yard out. With the extra point, Dallas leads at 28-3. Vern and Dan, back to you.
And here, Greg, we've got Tampa Bay leading 17-10, but about to give up the football with 4:23 remaining 3rd quarter. Nobody back for this one, and it will finally limp into the end zone and come out to the 20. 49-yard punt for Dan Straczynski. Broncos get it back at their own 20. Some of his weapons today. Rod Bernstein out with a dislocated shoulder. And John has had things slow down a little bit here in the last quarter and a half.
Now he's just looking to make a couple of completions now. Remember, Shannon Sharp is working on a bad ankle. He sprained in the 1st quarter, and he's the guy that is getting all the double teams now.
Look at this. Phoenix has increased its lead over the Giants. 1st down and 10. Play action on 1st down. Elway being chased by Dotson. Finds his tight end, Reggie Johnson. And moves it out to the 27. That's a gain of 7. Dallas winning and the Giants losing right now. They play each other in New York next week, of course. They would go into that game if the scores held tied for the division lead.
And with the lead in the tiebreaker, because they had already beaten the New York Giants earlier this year.
Second down and 3. Left side, Kimbrough gets by Milton Mack. First down at the 41. Maybe the 42. See where they spot the ball here.
Now that's what Elway and Fossil were talking about on the sidelines. Let's just start hitting some short passes, get our confidence back, get things rolling. He hits Johnson on the previous play, and he finds Kimbrough wide open as Milton Mack decides to give him a lot of room. 2 straight completions for John Elway.
And a first down and 10. Buccaneers lead 17-10. Del Pino has Zimmerman leading the way around the right side. But a really good defensive job by the Buccaneers. Hardy Nickerson leading the way, and Martin Mayhew in the middle of it. Gain of 2.
Interesting when you see those scores, that Dallas score and the Giants score, and you see the Niners lose yesterday. It's starting to look like Dallas may be back to being considered the best team in the NFC.
Well, that changes about every 3 weeks.
Yeah, but they're playing awfully well last couple of weeks.
Yes,
Was
they are.
real impressive against the Jets last weekend.
Second and 8, Denver. Elway. Left side, Tillman. And that's going to move the chains again as the Broncos try and tie it up with 2:10 remaining in the third quarter of play. A gain of 9.
Tampa Bay can look back to the last 2 times they had the ball on offense. They went 3 plays in punt, and they went 5 plays in punt, and took very, very little time off the clock.
41 yards for both teams in this half. First and 10, Denver. Buccaneers are blitzing. Elway comes left, finds his running back. That's Robert Del Pino with a catch. Bussey, the defender.
Another thing Elway is doing is he's spreading the wealth around a little bit. Goes to Del Pino that time. Had Johnson earlier. And Kimbrough. And not much pass rush from the Buccaneers.
Elway 4 for 4 on this drive. It's a second and 7 now. 1:25 to go, quarter number 3. Once again, Hardy Nickerson is coming. Good protection. And Kimbrough makes the grab near side at the 41-yard line. That's a gain of 4. Ricky Reynolds, the defender.
Ricky Reynolds comes up and makes an excellent tackle on Kimbrough. Watch as he settles into his zone, sees Kimbrough hook up short, and comes flying up and drops Kimbrough before he can even get his head around.
Ricky Reynolds, a one-time second-round draft choice out of Washington State. 3rd and 3, Denver. They trail by 7. And again, the Buccaneers are blitzing. And again, oh, the crossing pattern. Shannon Sharp and Ricky Reynolds, and it's incomplete. I saw John put his hands to his helmet.
Well, the reason why, Vern, is if Sharp catches this one, he's going to go all the way down inside the 20, maybe even further. He's got to step on the defensive back, and Elway just led him too far. Ricky Reynolds on the coverage, but he was a non-factor.
Here's Ruin's punt. Tries to put it out of bounds on the near side, and instead plants it about 6 yards into the end zone. A 41-yard punt. It comes out to the 20-yard line. 17-10 with 28 seconds to go. Next Saturday, Dan and I'll bring you the inaugural CarQuest Bowl from Joe Robbie Stadium at 1 o'clock Eastern. You'll see the Boston College Eagles against the Virginia Cavaliers, and that's followed by the NCAA Women's Volleyball Championship next Saturday on CBS Sports. First and 10 from the 20. 28 seconds to go, quarter number 3. Cobb. nothing. That's his 15th carry for 22 yards.
Good job up front by the nose tackle, Cragen, and Williams, number 90. Just fighting off and closing down the hole, forcing Cobb to go to the outside.
That'll do it for 3/4 of play at Mile High. That's the end of the third quarter with our score: Tampa 17, Denver 10. Home game for the Broncos. Tampa Bay playing here for the first time in 17 years, and equaling that duration with the number of points they put on the board. They lead it by 7. It's second down and 10 from the 20. Erickson back, tries to go right, comes back left and throws it away. Just about hit Ernie Stautner, the Hall of Fame defensive line coach of the Broncos. There's Ernie.
Yeah, there's Ernie.
Oh, he's grown a mustache. Haven't seen that in a while. Boy, he is something.
He could still line up and play. You know that?
Hall of Fame defensive lineman, and he's not more than 6 feet, though he weighs about 265. Well, not that much.
As a player, he did.
3rd and 10. Erickson's got some room to the near side. Chased by Mecklenburg. Caught by Mecklenburg. But it is a first down, Tampa Bay.
This is twice now that Erickson's made a big play on the ground and picking up the key first down. But I think he'd like to have this match race any day, running against a 33-year-old Carl Mecklenburg. Give Mecklenburg a lot of credit for running him down, but just about 2 yards too late.
1st and 10, Tampa Bay trying to win on the road against an AFC team for the first time in 13 years. 13 years. Here's the toss to Cobb, and he has positive yardage. This time out to the 35, maybe the 36-yard line. Tyrone Braxton makes the tackle.
It's always been difficult to run wide against the Denver Broncos. They've always had great speed in their linebackers, dating back to Randy Gradishar and Tom Jackson. That time it was Dave Wyman who came over from Seattle a couple years ago that ran down Reggie Cobb.
He's wearing Tom Jackson's number, as a matter of fact, 57. Toss to the near side. And Reggie Cobb moves it to the 40. That's a gain of 4 and brings up a 3rd and 1. Earlier today, Detroit outlasted Chicago. Green Bay won. Those two teams meet for the Central Division title in the NFC next week in Detroit. Philadelphia and Cincinnati were winners, as were Buffalo and New England. 13-10 to go in the ball game.
Just a year ago that Green Bay needed to win at Minnesota last game of the year and couldn't get it done. Got to go to the Silverdome next week.
Cobb! My, oh my, what a defensive play by Simon Fletcher. That one may loom huge.
Now, this is a guy that deserves to get into the Pro Bowl. We've seen him put pressure on the quarterback here and goal line short yardage type of play. Knifes inside the tight end's block and drops Cobb for a 4-yard loss.
Straczynski will punt it away to Glenn Milburn. The difference in this game right now was a buck punt by Milburn on the 15-yard line that set up a 14-yard touchdown pass. He backs away from this one. It goes out of bounds, and it's not the most effective punt for Dan Straczynski. Simon Fletcher with a big defensive play. The Broncos have the ball. Today, here's one of them. They will or lose here if Pittsburgh loses to Seattle. And Pittsburgh is trailing by 7 right now up in the Kingdom. Meanwhile, the Broncos trailing Tampa by 7 points. First down 10 at their own 31. Elway left side. Shannon Sharp still running loose up to the 39-yard line before he steps out of bounds.
Broke the tackle of Barney Bussey, who's the weak side linebacker. He's kind of a tweener position. He's got the size and speed of a defensive back, but he's reportedly a good tackler like a linebacker, although that time he couldn't bring down Shannon Sharp.
That's the 6th catch for Shannon Sharp for 65 yards. It's 2nd down and 2. Del Pino comes right. And that's short of the 1st down at the 40-yard line.
Yeah, it really didn't look like Del Pino was sure exactly where he wanted to take that ball. Looked inside, and a lot of indecision on his part. Never did quite get to the hole. But apparently got it close enough for a measurement.
Well, they will bring it across. Del Pino with 12 carries for 38 yards. Didn't expect to run the ball that much, but Bernstein out with a dislocated shoulder on his 2nd carry of the day. Here's the stretch, and he got it. Well, middle-aged eyes are failing me more than I thought.
Well, Elway's been content without receivers like Vance Johnson and Derek Russell to keep it short.
That's amazing, 145 yards on 30 throws.
He had just over 100 yards last week against the Bears.
1st and 10. Buccaneers caught adjusting defensively, and the pass for Shannon Sharp. Hardy Nickerson had a chance at that ball. It flew over his head. It'll be 2nd and 10. Denver with that great home record over the last decade, but they are 5-2 prior to today's game. One of those losses 26-23 to another NFC Central Division team, the Minnesota Vikings. 2nd and 10, 17-10. Buccaneers lead the Broncos. Elway right side, Tony Kimbrough 1st down at the 44-yard line. Marty Carter with the tackle.
Elway has the ability to throw just about any type of pass. This time he decides to throw it low so the defensive back can't quite get to it. Finds Kimbrough in the hole. Big 3rd down conversion for the Broncos.
That's the 4th pass reception by Kimbrough and a 1st down at the 43. 10:45 to go in the game. And the Broncos trailing by 7. Right side. Got another one. Fumbles the ball. And it was stripped out by Martin Mayhew. And Joe King recovers for the Buccaneers. Mayhew with the strip.
Absolutely, Vern. He gave up the catch to Tillman, then came in with the right hand and just ripped it loose. Joe King fell on it. Huge turnover for this young Tampa Bay team. Elway can't believe it. Just another hook route by the Bronco receivers, but Tillman doesn't secure it. Mayhew reaches in and grabs one of the points of the ball. You get a lot of leverage doing that sometimes, and was strong enough to pull it out.
That's the 2nd Bronco turnover. The other was the muff punt that led to a touchdown that is the difference in the game. Well, if Tampa Bay wins this game, it will not be because of their ground game. Reggie Cobb, nothing there. Second and 11. Cobb with 19 carries, 26 yards. Erickson dropped. Workman.
Well, Erickson got the mismatch he wanted. Vince Workman working against Steve Atwater, but it's another one of those drop passes that White says has plagued his team all year. That would not have picked up a 1st down, but it would have given the Buccaneers a 3rd and 3, a real manageable 3rd down situation. This at 3rd and 11 is going to be tough.
Broncos bring the safeties up, then they dance back. Buccaneers do get the play snapped. Erickson into the flat, caught short of the first down. And it'll be 4th. Courtney Hawkins picks up 5, but he needed 11.
Erickson sees the safeties start to cheat up. You got Atwater, you got Darrell Hall there, number 40. Boy, this is really some. All 3 safeties are faking like they come. 2 of them do. And they force that poor throw from Erickson to Hawkins.
Straczynski back to punt. Milburn waits for it at the 25-yard line. Beautiful punt. Milburn at the 18. Flag is down. Milburn finally is. A fumble. Who got it? There is also a flag.
It's a real tug of war down there, Vern. Bamboo shoots are going behind the fingernails. Eyes are gouged, and Tampa Bay recovers. Now we'll see what the penalty is. This could be against Denver. Holding on the gunner on the outside. It appears that's where the flag was thrown.
The ball belongs to Tampa Bay. Recovered fumble.
And the second fumble, though the other was called a muff, for Glenn Milburn.
This is a heck of an effort by Milburn to find a lane and really get bounced around a couple of times. There you see the flag. Breaks that tackle. Buckley misses. And now from behind, the ball gets punched out by John Lynch, number 47. And who knows who gets this recovery. Maybe the punter, Straczynski, got it.
This is a discussion relative to the flag that was thrown back at the 31-yard line. A 51-yard punt, 35 on the return, then the fumble, and now the discussion.
They figure these guys are going to be on the air long enough, they would say something like Merry Christmas to us or something.
Holding number 34 of the receiving team. The penalty is declined. First down.
Tyrone Braxton was holding on the kickoff, on the punt return.
And the Buccaneers take over with 8:47 remaining in the game. They lead by 7. Erickson goes deep, intercepted and then dropped. And now they're going to say no interception, as Smith had it and he hit Braxton.
Absolutely, Vern. Perfect call there. Dennis Smith claims that he had it long enough, but talk about an unlucky play. Erickson trying to squeeze it in the dead zone behind the corner and in front of the safety. Dennis Smith will have nothing of it. Goes over, picks it off, but he did not have control. Braxton came over and ripped it loose. Unfortunate for Dennis Smith.
2nd and 10. Back split behind Erickson. Defensive line of the Broncos dancing around. Mecklenburg down. Erickson dropped by Atwater. That's 2 in a row.
And it's the safeties that are making the plays. Both Atwater that time and Smith before. Watch Atwater right side of the screen here. Watch him break on this pass. That's why he's an all-pro. And that's why he also plays defense. If he could catch, he'd be a tight end.
Defensive coordinator Charlie Waters has flashed in the signal. 3rd and 10. Play clock down to 3. Now down to 1. And the Buccaneers use one of their 3 timeouts. When we return, Tampa Bay will be facing a 3rd and 10 at their own 47. 37 remaining in regulation. Bay. The young quarterback Craig Erickson facing his Bronco defense at his own 47-yard line, and the Buccaneers lead by 7. Maximum protection is what this is called. In the face of the crowd, Erickson back, right side, caught, and it's a first down.
What a great effort by Charles Wilson. Caught the ball short of the first down marker and just tippy-toed down the sidelines, and now the referees are moving it back. One official gave him the yardage, and another one came in and said no. Watch this effort, though. Steps out of bounds with that left foot there, and that's a great call by the official, Terry Gerke, number 72, right on top of things.
That leaves the Buccaneers facing a 4th down and less than a yard.
But you know, Vern, part of that maximum protection was Courtney Hawkins as a pass blocker. That's crazy. He's your best receiver, and Weiss has him in protecting the quarterback. Send him out on a route.
Waters signals in the defensive alignment. It's 4th and a foot, and the Bucs will go for it. I believe they have moved the chain. A gain of 2 for Reggie Cobb on his 20th carry of the afternoon.
That's the 10th time the Buccaneers have gone for it on 4th down this year, and the 3rd time they have been successful. Gutty call from Coach Sam Weiss, and real good execution by Cobb and the left side of that line, Paul Gruber and Bruce Reimers.
Clock is running, 7:35 remaining. 1st and 10, Buccaneers. Cobb. He gets it to the 40-yard line. That's a gain of 2. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Let me go back and give Mike Sullivan credit, because he was in the game for Reimers at left guard.
Paul Gruber, the left tackle for this beat-up offensive line. Tampa may be the most injured team in the league. There are a lot of teams that can claim that, but they've lost 8 key players to the injured reserve list already this year. 2nd and 8.
And a lot of guys are playing hurt today.
Play action, a great fake. They lob it left for Workman. Whoa, what a fake by Craig Erickson.
They said that that would be a big part of their game plan today. In order to make play action work, though, you got to run the ball effectively, and the Buccaneers have done so on this drive. Had a couple of receivers out there, Workman and Ron Hall.
1st down at the 27. 6:31 remaining. Clock running. Reggie Cobb, right side. Not much.
Yeah, the key thing now, Vern, is for Tampa Bay to work on the clock and be content here to line up and have Michael Houston kick a field goal. A field goal will give Tampa Bay a 10-point lead, but you got to run this clock down as far as possible.
See that both teams have 2 timeouts remaining. The Buccaneers are trying to win on the road against an AFC opponent for the first time in 13 years. 5:50 remaining. Workman and Harris in the backfield now. And the strength of the formation to the left on 2nd down and 9. Here comes the safety blitz, and Workman heads left, and Atwater gets him. So did Smith. And that makes the field goal a little bit more of a problem.
Yeah, a good play by the safeties inside, but it was Mike Kroll on the outside that contained Workman and forced him to the inside where the safeties were.
Broncos stopped the clock with a timeout. That leaves them with 1. And the clock is stopped with 5.5 remaining in the game.
Real chess match going on now between Sam Weiss, who calls all the offensive plays for Tampa Bay, and Charlie Waters, the defensive coordinator. See Carl Mecklenburg over there. That face belongs on Mount Rushmore. Or close to.
Erickson and Weiss once again. California's answer to crime is to build more prisons, and they're doing just that. Is it working? 60 Minutes tonight, followed by Murder, She Wrote, and then the CBS Sunday movie Broken Promises, Taking Emily Back. That's all tonight on CBS. Right now, the Buccaneers look at a 3rd down and 12 with 5.5 remaining in the game, and Tampa up by 7 in Denver. It off up the middle, and Cobb keeps it in the middle of the field to give Michael Husted another chance.
Tampa Bay doing a great job of possessing the ball, but of course the key is, what do you do with it when you have it in your possession? White's is going to line up and kick the field goal here as Denver uses their last timeout.
That stops the clock with 5:18 remaining.
This will be about a 40-41 yarder. Husted hit earlier today from 48. So distance is not the problem here. So many times though I've been here in this same type of situation, Vern, as an opposing player, and seen the Broncos come up with a blocked field goal of some kind.
Well, they've had 2 blocks this year, Reggie Rivers, but they've both been punts. They've not blocked a field goal so far. Dallas, Emmitt Smith with 153 yards rushing. Now, keep in mind that a Pittsburgh loss in their game against Seattle will put Wade Phillips and the Broncos in the playoffs.
Yeah, the old back door.
Exactly.
Any door will do, though.
Now, Michael Husted. From 40 yards. No good. The Broncos are still breathing.
Distance wasn't the problem. It was accuracy. Missed that one by about 3 feet. Just kept drifting and drifting, never quite hooked to the middle. Hits it almost dead straight, but it just fades on him and misses by the narrowest of margins.
32 times in his career, Elway has led the Broncos from behind in the 4th quarter. He has another chance. They have John Elway at quarterback. 1st down and 10 from the 23. And Denver has used all 3 of its timeouts. Elway for an alternate receiver, Milburn, and they lose 3 yards. Milburn does get out of bounds to momentarily stop the clock.
And the clock will start again as soon as it's ready for play, because we're not within the 5 minutes at the end of the game.
5 minutes to go, 2nd and 13. Elway near side, a leaping grab by Tillman, incomplete.
There's Martin Mayhew that almost intercepted that one, Vern. I look at John Elway now and I see a totally different quarterback than I've seen in this type of situation so many times in his great career. He's looking for a receiver. He has no confidence in any of these guys. He probably couldn't even tell you their names right now. Forcing the ball to Cedric Tillman that time, but you can just see a really uncomfortable number 7 looking for a port in a storm.
And he's looking at a 3rd and 13 right now. And to prevent defense, they drop 8. Elway has to go to the far side. And he finds Milburn, who is out of bounds, to stop the clock at the 19-yard line. It'll be 4th down. And a final score. Ron Moore with 2 touchdown runs. The Cardinals go to 6-9. and a huge win for Joe Bugle and his staff. And next Sunday, the Dallas Cowboys, who are leading big over Washington, will go into the Meadowlands to take on the New York Giants.
And with 4.5 minutes to go, Wade Phillips is going to leave it up to his defense to win this ball game.
Well, 3 and out, 3 and quickly out for the Denver Broncos offense, and the fair catch made by Courtney Hawkins.
You just see that Elway, because he doesn't have Derek Russell and he doesn't have Vance Johnson or a healthy Shannon Sharp or Rod Bernstein, all those weapons that have made him no longer the one-man gang here in Denver, they're all either injured or out or playing less than fully capable, and he's just not confident in guys by the name of Tillman and Rose and Kimbrough and Marshall.
So the Buccaneers face the Bronco defense with a first down and 10. 2 timeouts left for Tampa Bay. They will keep it on the ground, and again, the Broncos cannot stop the clock. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Well, a couple of games next Sunday will decide division titles. The Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants in the Meadowlands, and Green Bay at Detroit. The Eastern Division and the Central Division on the line, and it all begins with the NFL Today next Sunday at 12:30. I'm in a hurry for that.
What is a Terry Award? What do you get, a bathrobe?
Oh dear. 2nd down and 10. Cobb breaks a tackle down to the 40, and the clock shows 3:45 remaining in the game. A gain of 6.
And that is the key. That clock right there. No way of stopping the clock for Denver. And you know why she's going to keep this one on the ground.
3rd and 5.
Now, a real gutsy call would be to fake the ball to number 34 and put it up in the air.
Think he might?
Nope.
Wow. Goes deep, throws it away. 4th down.
Now, he didn't fake it and he didn't complete it, and he stopped the clock. That's 40 seconds or so that he might want to have run off the clock, because the other number 7 is going to get the ball again.
And the other number 7's got a little more experience in this circumstance than Craig Erickson.
Watch out for a lot of pressure on Straczynski now.
Milburn is back. He's dropped 2 today. He muffed 1, fumbled another. And that muffed punt led to a 14-yard touchdown pass. That is the difference in this game. And Reggie Rivers, rather Lilo Lang, was coming for the block. And there's a fumble by Milburn. It's out of bounds, however. The Broncos get it back.
This guy's just snake bit, Vern. There's nothing else you can say about it. We called for the fair catch, so he had a lot of time. Watch how close Lilo Lang comes to this one from the right side. Misses it by an inch. Bumps into the punter. No call from Jerry Markbright. And here's the second muff of the day. Jones wasn't in his face that time. Fortunate for the Broncos, it went out of bounds.
No timeouts left. 2:59 to go in the game. 17-10 Tampa Bay. Good downfield coverage again. But look at that pass. Arthur Marshall all the way out to the 48-yard line of the Buccaneers.
Incredible throw from number 7. But he's got such confidence in his own abilities, regardless of who he's throwing the ball to. Nobody can make that throw but John Elway.
That's a gain of 40.
And a lot of time left.
2 minutes and 50 seconds.
Heads up by Marshall, getting out of bounds, too.
Elway, Marshall again. Hit and dropped at the 39. That's a gain of 8.5, maybe 9 yards.
Interesting decision by Floyd Peters to go with just a 3-man rush. Letting Elway just stand back there all day long. Hasn't been sacked yet today, and lately hasn't even been hurried.
2nd and short, 3-man rush again. Elway across the middle from Milburn. First down, Denver at the 32. The clock will keep running. It's at 2:14 right now.
John will probably just let this one go, and he's a little upset that he didn't have the proper personnel in the game, and that his inexperienced receiving corps didn't get lined up in time. That's why he's the best.